And welcome back to Use It or Lose It, where I help you get every penny out of your food dollar by making sure you use up that food before it goes bad. Well, I realize it's been a while since I've been here, but I've been busy. What can I say? So I'm really going to pull out all the stops today and cook a full meal for you. It all started when I was visiting my brother and sister-in-law in North Carolina, in the Western Mountains, and they gave me some fresh blueberries that a friend had picked from her bushes. And I'm not kidding. There must have been, 6 quarts of berries. I just took a couple of cups, and now I find myself with just half a cup left over. They're starting to get a little squishy. Sure, I could use it in a smoothie. I could mix it in with my yogurt, but I thought, well, let's try something really different. And I started thinking about it, and I thought, wow, a blueberry balsamic reduction sauce would be really interesting on top of a grilled pork chop. And so that's what we're going to do today. And in addition to that, I went to my neighborhood farmer's market and found these stunning mushrooms. Here's what they are. So you can see these are golden oyster mushrooms. So beautiful yellow color, this gigantic head of mushroomy things. And I just thought, wow, blue, yellow, what could be prettier? And my mom always said, you eat with your eyes first. So we're going to have a grilled pork chop with blueberry balsamic sauce with some sauteed golden oyster mushrooms on a bed of rice. And we're going to do all of that right here today. So we're going to get started. So I have here my ingredients. So I'm starting with, and I'm going to start the reduction sauce because that's going to take longer. While that's going, we'll then start with the other elements. But I'm taking my half cup of blueberries and dumping them in the pan. They've already been washed, don't worry. And we're going to start cooking those and mashing them up before we start adding the additional ingredients of balsamic vinegar. And you want to use equal parts blueberries and balsamic. We're adding 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, a little bit of honey, a little bit of thyme, and that's all there is to it. So we're going to get that started. I don't know why this burner always takes so long to get going. So we're going to mash up these blueberries a bit. You don't want them whole in this situation. I'm just using a potato masher. So I'm just going to start squishing those up. While the pan is heating. Hello. We'll probably mash that up a bit more. And now we're going to add the garlic and honey to that. Whoops. That got hot a little too fast. Not ready for it to be that hot yet. All right, in goes our garlic. So this is kind of a sweet and savory sauce is what's going on here. And we're going to add about a tablespoon of honey, probably a little less because the balsamic vinegar certainly adds sweetness, but this will kind of take the tartness out of the berries. It's probably more like 2 teaspoons. Remember, we always taste our food, so I can adjust if need be. Okay. Stir that. And just a quick note, when you're making a reduction sauce, I am going to add thyme, but I'm going to add it a little bit later because that's one of those herbs that might get a little bit funky if you put it in too soon, especially with the reduction. So you want it to maintain its brightness, so you want to add that towards the end. So of course now we add our balsamic. And now's the part where we bring it to a boil so it starts reducing. And bring up the temp a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to let that sit there and do its thing for a little while. So I have everything else ready to go. I'm going to be cooking the pork chop on my handy dandy little, George Foreman contact grill. It's the official name of that. It does it in short time. It's great because it grills both sides at the same time. It's always good to turn it once in the middle. I've just dusted that with a bit of salt, pepper, and garlic powder because we want to carry through that garlic flavor. So I am going to let that do its thing for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll start throwing together the rest of this. So this is exciting. You get to see me make a full meal. Woo! Okay, well, that's been boiling for about 5 minutes. It still has a little ways to go, but it's a good time to start doing the other elements, i.e. getting the pork chop cooking and sautéing our mushrooms. So I am going to grease up my little thing. I have this cool little device. It sucks oil up into this silicone brush so I can just brush it on so I don't over grease anything. I love it. This works kind of okay. It sometimes is a little fussy, but there we go. All right, so we're going to get that heated up so we can put the pork chop in there and get that going. And now the grill has heated up, so I'm going to get that pork chop going. It doesn't take very long on this thing, so everything should hopefully, the sizzle will come out at the same time using my tongue, because I don't want to touch the raw meat with my hands while I'm doing other stuff. And our sauce is starting to thicken up nicely, so I think now is a good time to add the thyme. Just a little bit, just to give it a little something, something. It was about, I don't know, quarter, half a teaspoon, something like that. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. You want it to go faster, but not too fast, because I have made the mistake when doing a reduction, especially a balsamic reduction, of not paying attention, and it just turned into a blackened mess. So don't be like me and turn your back on your reduction sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and start sautéing these mushrooms. I had already cooked rice. I always make more than what I need for one serving, and then I can just reheat it quickly in the microwave. It really only takes like a minute to bring it back to life with a little bit of water. And I put about a tablespoon of butter in the pan here. I mean, what's better than butter, right? How can you go wrong with mushrooms sautéed in butter? And what you haven't noticed is I keep my butter on the counter. I found out recently it's okay to leave your butter on the counter because the fat content is sufficient that it acts like a preservative. So, all of those fears of, oh my God, I'm putting a dairy product, leaving it out, it's going to go yuck, and all that sort of thing. Don't have to worry about that. So you have soft butter all the time. One piece was a little big. I love it when everything is going at the same time and it's all sizzling and bubbling. Ah, it's just the best. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes probably when I'm about ready to plate, and I'll show you how the balsamic sauce is reduced. It's already getting pretty thick, so we're just going to keep our eye on that while that reduces. Although this pan's a lot easier to clean than the one I burnt it in. Okay, be back soon. Okay, it's showtime! So it's time to plate. Now here's another advantage to cooking a portion of your meal in the microwave on the plate that you're going to be eating off of is a hot plate keeps your food hot. So if you are always complaining about your food getting cold too fast, this is a handy trick for making sure that doesn't happen. So here's our beautiful grilled pork chop. We have our beautiful blueberry sauce. So I'm going to spoon some of that, and you can see, well, maybe you can see, so this is what it looks like. It has thickened up considerably from when we simply added all those wet ingredients. So I'm going to spoon some of that on. Oh, it's nice and thick and syrupy, and the rice is going to catch that. Make sure we get a nice portion. And indeed, I'm glad I went light on the honey because it is plenty sweet with just a little bit, just to take the tartness off of those fresh wild blueberries. Okay, so we've got our sauce, and we now have our mushrooms that have browned nicely. I hit it with a little bit of salt when it was close to done. So we're going to put those right there next to that pork chop with all that buttery goodness. And there you have it. So this beautiful, I'm not very good at plating, I must admit, but here it is, our grilled pork chop with blueberry balsamic reduction sauce, sautéed golden oysters, and some brown rice. And seriously, folks, that only took me a half an hour. So even though I stepped away and did, some of the cooking off screen, it really did not take that long to put this together. So once you have that prep work done, it goes fast, and a delicious, and I almost forgot, the best part of the reveal is the tasting. So here we go. Wow. Man, that sauce is delicious. If you like blueberries and you're looking for something different to do with them, I highly recommend this. And now I get to try these golden oyster mushrooms for the first time. Wow. Aside from the fact that butter makes everything taste great, but they're perfectly browned, they're not too crisp, just right, and it gives it a little more of that umami flavor alongside the sweet tartness of the blueberry sauce. I could not be happier with how this invention turned out. Remember, you can always find specific recipes for the stuff that I make up here. Usually I'm working off of ideas from the internet about the specifics in terms of proportions and measurements and so forth. If you look up blueberry balsamic sauce, you're going to find quite a few recipes, and you can try this for yourself. So that's it for today, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!